Do you struggle with uneven brows, over-tweezing, or knowing exactly where a brow should start, arch, and end? In today's video, I'm showing you my step-by-step brow mapping process that helps create balanced, flattering brows for almost every face shape. Whether you're a beginner, a brow artist, or just trying to improve your own brows at home, this tutorial will walk you through everything you need to know. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chais and I share content all about brows, beauty, and aesthetics. Today's video is all about brow mapping. Brow mapping is one of the most important skills to learn because it creates structure, improves symmetry, and helps customize brows to each client's unique features. As you can see, I am prepping the brows, making sure I'm removing all the oils, and we're gonna go ahead and get started into this brow mapping video. You always want to make sure you're removing as much excess oils as much as possible before tinting. I will upload a brow tinting video for anyone who has any questions regarding brow tinting techniques and things of that nature. The first line I create is my center guideline. This helps me identify the midpoint of the face and gives me a reference point for both brows. Remember, faces are naturally asymmetrical, so we're aiming for balance rather than perfection. Next, I'm determining where the brow should begin. I align my string from the outer edge of the nostril upward to the brow area and place a small mark. This gives me a starting point for the front of the brow. This technique helps me find the thickness of the brow. So I mark the bottom of the brow, and then I'm also going to mark the top of the brow as well. Please guys, take as much time as you need during this process. There's no need to rush when brow mapping. Next, I'm going to mark my height. Now I am locating my tail and my arches. So of course I'm going to bring my brow thread diagonal from the tail, and then I'm going to bring it down from the highest point of the arch. To kind of help me remember this process, I always think of a pizza shape. So the tail and the arch, they should form a pizza shape along the brow. For the tail, I align the string from the outer nostril toward the outer corner of the eye. Where the line intersects the brow area, it becomes my endpoint. Keeping the tail properly positioned helps maintain a lifted appearance. To find the highest point of the brow, which is the arch, I angle my string from the outer nostril through the center of the pupil. Where the line meets the brow is typically where the arch will sit. This point helps create lift and structure. The next line that I'm marking is my height. I use this line to determine where not to go over for brows, especially while I'm tinting. By determining the height, I can keep the brows asymmetrical. Now you're going to see me connect those lines. So everywhere there's a point, I am just connecting those lines. I am creating my brow shape, and the brow shape that I create, I'm going to outline that. I feel like brow mapping is confusing for most starting out just because you see so many different lines and you're like, where do I wax? Where do I tint? I'm confused about all these lines. You know, sometimes eventually it will make sense. It doesn't make sense in the beginning when you're looking at the brow, but if you pay close attention and mark every line correctly within the brow map, you can see the structure of the brow. pay attention to the brow after you're done mapping it. A lot of times, if you still pay attention, you can see the shape of the brow as you're mapping, but I like to look at my finished results of the shape of the brow once I'm done mapping. I make sure my thread is completely marked, so that way the ink adheres to the skin and I'm able to outline each mark correctly. So again, connecting the shape. Once I have my fronts, my arch, my tail points marked, I connect them to create the upper and lower borders of the brow. At this stage, I'm simply just checking proportions, refining my guidelines, and making sure both brows appear balanced. Okay, so now that my brow mapping is complete, I'm going to go in with my white paste to outline and define the shape we've created. This helps me visualize the finished brow and provides a clean guide for the next step of the service. Why I use white paste. So I like to apply white paste after mapping because it gives me a visual guide and helps keep my work clean and precise. It also allows me to see the brow shape more clearly before committing to a tint or stain. If I notice anything that needs adjusting, I can make those changes before moving forward. And please guys, I can't stress, one, always just make sure that you are using a palette to be able to apply your paste on the palette. For some odd reason, I can't find my tools. I can't find the supplies that I need sometimes when I'm doing brows, and that frustrates me to my core. So I have to actually go out and purchase a new palette for my white paste, but just make sure you have all of the tools and materials that you need. Brows are sisters, not twins. Most people naturally have one brow that's slightly higher, fuller, or grows differently than the other. Brow mapping helps us create balance, but our goal is enhancement, not making the brows look stamped on. As I am outlining, I'm paying attention to the natural growth pattern of the hairs. Some clients have sparse tails, downward growing fronts, cowlicks, or uneven density. Understanding hair growth helps determine how much shaping can realistically be done. Not every client wants the same brow. Some prefer a soft, fluffy brow, while others like a more structured and defined look. Brow mapping gives me a foundation, but I still customize the shape based on facial features, bone structure, and client preference. For beginner tips, if you're new to brow mapping, don't rush. Step back from your client every so often, look at the brows from different angles, and make small adjustments as needed. The more you practice, the faster your eye will develop. Common mistakes. A few mistakes I see beginners make are creating fronts that are too boxy, making the tails too long, or placing the arch too far inward. Taking your time during mapping can prevent these issues and improve your overall results. Before tinting, I do go in to shape my brow. I pretty much like this method. Some people do it before, some people do it after. It just depends on where I am in my process. But I like to go ahead before I tint to shape and structure my brow as much as possible. So that way when I apply the tint, I can already see what the brow is going to look like once I begin to wax. Much sharper and cleaner look, and normally the brow look that I'm going for. Biggest part of the process, consultation. A consultation does not just occur in the beginning of the appointment. It takes place during the appointment and after as well. So as you see currently, I'm just showing my client the brow shape. Pretty much I show her where I'm going to wax and remove hair. I also show her where I'm going to tint. And of course, we're always laughing and joking per usual, but she trusts me with her brows. She is one of my regular clients. And I love trying new brow looks on her. She's been with me from the very beginning. You guys, I love my brow clients. I love them. But you just kind of see me here just explaining and giving her direction as to how I'm going to shape her brows, how I'm going to tint her brows, and yeah. And that's it for today's brow mapping tutorial. I hope you found these tips helpful and feel more confident creating balanced, customized brows. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned because I'll be sharing my full brow mapping and tint tutorial next. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. That's exactly how I feel like they are. Yeah. That's exactly. You like them? Okay. I was about to say, tell me if you see one that looks longer than the other, I could fix them. I was about to